Namaste. Welcome to the Festival of Bharat Season 4. I'm your host Kamal Madishetty. Today we have with us a very special guest who's one of the most articulate voices on civilizational issues and dharmic affairs. He's the co-founder of Pragyata, a journal of Indic ideas, and UpWord, which is a knowledge platform that focuses on civilizational issues. We have with us Ashish Dharji. Namaste Ashish ji. Welcome to the Festival of Bharat.
Thank you, Kamal. Thank you for having me on your show, and it's a pleasure to be here again.
Absolutely, Ashish ji. It is our pleasure to welcome you back at the Festival of Bharat. Thank you so much for joining us. And Ashish ji, first of all, I would like to ask you, how have you been doing in these difficult times of the pandemic? How has your work been?
Well, the work has been quite all right. I mean, in the sense that since my first appearance on this platform, a lot of water has flown under the bridge, and you've already introduced me with, associating my name with Pragyata and UpWord. So UpWord was started after the first season when I attended the Festival of Bharat. And I'm also involved in the Indic Collective Trust. I'm the operations manager, and you have already mentioned Pragyata. So at UpWord, we've been doing a lot of video content, and we've taken up a few issues that we are kind of deep diving into, specifically to do with the freedom of temples movement, and things like uh, you know the idea of democracy, and exploring alternatives or better ways of governing our nation, stuff like that. People things that people take for granted. So UpWord, we are trying to push into the direction of a discourse building platform. We've also diversified and started a couple of new brands like Chakshu and Unroll, and I'm glad that you've also been a contributor to some of the videos, and you've done some brilliant scripts. So thank you for that. And other than that, we've gotten into this new space, which is the Uprising app. It's basically a knowledge and information app. It's an information dissemination platform as opposed to a social media platform, where again the focus is on discourse building, civilizational discourse building. Other than that, I've been involved in this project on writing a book writing project called which has to do with the Indian idea of caste, right? It's a very contentious topic, and I've gotten into a lot of Twitter fights over this, and been dragged into and called many names. But hopefully, when the book comes out, a lot of those things will get clarified. And yeah, I mean, so a lot of stuff has happened between when I first came to Festival of Bharat and today.
Ashish ji, you are one of the most vocal and dedicated voices who speaks on civilizational issues, especially to a young audience. And I want to begin this conversation by asking you, if I may, about your own life journey. How did you discover this path? And are there any life experiences or influences in your life that you could share with us?
Um, I would like to clarify that I didn't discover any path, but if I may say so, the path discovered me because it just happened, and I hadn't planned any of this. In fact, I was happily employed in the automotive and management consulting field, and but one fine day, I just decided that I'll do something on my own, which was just a hunch. And a few years later, the Pragyata happened, which was totally a coincidental thing. And I did not really have much idea um, about the sheer helplessness that a lot of our scholars were feeling, or perhaps still are, uh, in that they're being left alone by the Indian state, and they're working in silos, and their dedication and their devotion to their field of study has not really uh, brought them much happiness, outside of just the fact that they are content with what they have been doing, other than giving them that contentment. in terms of material benefits, in terms of recognition, in terms of impact. A lot of that, we discovered that they were in a very, tragic sort of position. So anyway, so I mean, coming back to the question, so I didn't really plan any of that out. But yeah, I mean, if you could say that there was something which was pushing me in that direction, that perhaps I could attribute it to my exile consciousness, in the fact that I was, just about 9 or 10 years old when we were kicked out of Kashmir, and that stayed with me. I suppose that stayed with a lot of people, but somehow I think I got more, in connect with it, and that may have influenced some of the decisions that I took. And finally, the just this idea of doing something for the civilization in whatever small way possible. I think perhaps it could come from that consciousness. But once I jumped into this field, what really kept me engaged was the fact that a lot of people felt that resonance with whatever I spoke and whatever I wrote. And that I thought was an indication of shared consciousness, right? So I had a consciousness of exile, and I assumed that, I had assumed that it was just me. But when I interacted with a lot of people, I found that even without being kicked out of their places of stay, or their native indigenous, homelands, they still managed to have that feeling of exile. And that gave me an idea that, it's not necessary that you need to be kicked out, or you need to physically be in exile. You could also mentally be exiled. And yeah, so that's been something that has really kind of helped me to frame my thoughts and to work more towards, in whatever ways we can, towards building or the civilizational resurgence that we are all involved in.
Thank you so much, Ashish ji, for sharing that. I think it's a very inspiring journey, and we are grateful that for the work that you do for the service of Dharma.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.